Hello everyone, I hope you're all doing well today. Today I'm here with a new video for you guys. In today's video, I'm going to explain what are simple machines and how do they work. So simple machines. What are simple machines? They are mechanical devices that change the direction or magnitude of a force. They have been around for thousands of years, with the famous Greek mathematician Archimedes reportedly having said, "Give me a lever long enough and with it I shall move the world." A lever is actually an extremely important simple machine. They are the simplest mechanisms that are used to multiply mechanical advantage. Every machine you see is built on the basis of these machines, from a bicycle to an airplane. Here are some examples of a simple machine. You have pulleys, levers, wheel and axles, wedge, inclined planes, and screws. Levers. These are long, sturdy bars which are balanced on a fulcrum. A fulcrum is the point on which the levers are balanced. Levers increase mechanical advantage by changing weight distribution. If you want to lift something, you put it closer to the fulcrum, and the farther away you are, the easier it is to lift the object. A seesaw is one classic example of a lever. And going back to what Archimedes said, if you had a lever quadrillions of miles long and you put Earth as close as possible to the fulcrum of it, you could theoretically stand on it and move the world. Pulleys are made by looping a rope around multiple wheels. The more wheels you add to a system, the easier it is to pick up a load. For example, if the rope is looped around 3 wheels, it becomes 3 times easier to pick up the load, which is a huge deal. Ramps and wedges. These are among the oldest known simple machines. A wedge has actually been being used for 2 million years. It's a solid that tapers off to a cutting edge. The ancient axes our ancestors made using rocks were actually wedges. Ramps decrease the total distance an object has to travel and make it much easier to transport an object up a slope because we do not have to fight gravity at the end while pulling the object up. Screws. These simple machines can be thought of as an inclined plane wrapped around a cylinder. These machines turn a gentle turning force into a strong forward force. Each time the thread or the part of the screw that sticks out is turned, the screw moves a short distance forward, and the force required to make it go forward is spread all along the distance of the thread. Wheels are among the most useful of the simplest machines. They greatly reduce the load of transporting objects on rough ground as they elevate the object and simultaneously reduce the friction acting on the object itself. They are also useful for making objects turn with greater speed and force, as due to centrifugal force, the edge of a wheel moves faster than the center. This is especially true if the edge of the wheel is heavier than the center. Gears. Gears are not technically simple machines, but they are extremely useful, which is why I added them in this video. Using gears, it becomes very easy to manipulate the torque and speed of a machine. This is all based on gear ratios. If you power a very large gear that's connected to a very small gear, it will greatly increase the speed of the smaller gear. And if you reverse which gear is powered, as in you power the smaller gear connected to a large gear, you will greatly increase the torque or power of the entire system. Certain gears are also capable of changing the direction of motion and are necessary for use in things such as cars. Gears are used in everything, such as non-digital clocks, manual can openers, as if you can see them, you can see gears turning to make them turn in opposite directions, and bicycles, where you can change the speed or friction of a bicycle's wheels. Here I have an example of an Archimedes screw. This is an example of a screw that can be used to pull up water. One end of the screw is dipped into a body of water, and the other end is actually spun. The water will slowly go up and up until it will fall into a collection container, which makes it much easier to get water from a deep place. Levers are useful because they make it much easier to lift loads vertically. Levers can also be used to exert a large force over a small distance at one end by exerting only a small force over a greater distance at the other. This is what I meant by putting the object you want to lift as close as possible to the fulcrum. Pulleys greatly reduce the amount of force required to pull a heavy mass up. They are used in elevators, as in conjunction with several other pulleys, it becomes easy to pull the elevator up. Ramps create a diagonal incline used to transport objects otherwise much too heavy to pull up. For example, let's say you're moving from house to a house. You need a ram to transport your furniture into the truck, as simply lifting it up at the end is nearly impossible. Wedges are useful for splitting objects as they have a very sharp point. An example of this is an axe that's used to cut wood. The sharp point splits the axe into two pieces, which makes it useful to cut the wood. Screws are very useful as they create a nearly impossible to dislodge grip on something, and it can be used in the form of an Archimedes screw to pull up water. Nails are easier to drive into a solid, but screws are actually tighter and harder to dislodge. Wheels lift up objects on the ground, and in doing so, reduce the friction on the object. Wheels are used in nearly everything in the form of gears or wheels for cars and even planes. I hope you enjoyed this presentation. If you did, please remember to like, share, and subscribe to my channel. If you would like to see any of these topics in greater detail, please comment down below. I'll see you next time. Bye!